one person in this room tonight that I must stop, recognize, and give many, 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 many thanks 1,000 times over. That being my husband of 43 years and my friend, Dr. Walter L. Glover, Jr., who fully understands my role as leader, my role as a year-round president of this organization. He sees me pulling clothes out of one piece of luggage and putting some more clothes in another luggage and say, "You driving or flying?" Or he'll say, "Who's going with you?" As a pastor and denominational leader, he too has responsibilities, and I understand his responsibilities and the calling upon his life as a pastor, and he understands mine. Simply being about the Father's business. As president of this most prestigious body of Christian women, I can truthfully say that the minister's wife and the minister's widow is a peculiar person. A person who fights on her knees. A person who, of necessity, must be a special breed to endure the rigors associated with her life and the ministry. She, as a minister's wife and minister's widow, must form a self-concept and a self-image of herself that is consistent not with what others expect of her, as much as she expects of herself, and what God expects of her. The minister's wife or the minister's widow with self-concepts can reach out to other women and help them develop their roles in the community, the home, the job, and yes, the church. The minister's wife can be described as the salt of the earth and remains salt while it pickles or changes the flavor. Whatever it is used, the minister's wife is the salt of the earth. The minister's wife is the light of the world. She remains a light flickering as she shines in dark corners. The past 12 months, this servant leader has tried to be a light shining for Jesus. I've tried to let my light shine, for I knew that there was a minister's wife or a minister's widow down in a valley trying to get home. September 2013, the National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated, Charlotte, North Carolina, the Reverend Dr. Julius R. Scruggs, president. The 148th annual session of the Union Baptist Missionary and Educational Association of Middle Georgia, Walter L. Glover, Jr., moderator. The installation service for President Evelyn Perkins, the True Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, Inglewood, California. Appreciation luncheon for leading lady, our worship co-chair, Sister Theora Austin of the Emmanuel Baptist Church, Washington, D.C. The New York Association of Ministers' Wives State Meeting, Amherst, New York, Dr. W. Ruth Whitney, State President, Sister Jackie Wilson, Convention Chair. Funeral service for the Reverend Dr. Lorenzo Robinson, husband of our sister Jerry Robinson, Stamford, Connecticut. Banquet speaker for the Edgecombe Nash chapter of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Sister Deborah Battle, chapter president. Funeral service for the late Reverend Joe A. Games, husband of our beloved Gloria Games, and at the time of his death, he was the pastor of the Providence Baptist Church, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The International Association of Ministers' Wives Founders Day celebration, where we recognized our beloved sister, Mrs. Marion Elizabeth Langhorne Rivas. The inaugural banquet for the Alabama Association of Ministers' Wives and Ministers' Widows, Birmingham, Alabama. Funeral service for the Reverend Dr. Marshall Stinson, a 44-year pastor of the St. Luke Baptist Church, Macon, Georgia, and at the time of his death, the immediate past president of the Bryant Theological Seminary. The midwinter board meeting of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, Birmingham, Alabama. Greensboro, Raleigh, Winston-Salem, Fayetteville, all in preparation for this, the 2014 convention. The midwinter board meeting of the General Missionary Baptist Convention of Georgia, where I brought greetings from this body to the parent body. The Pacific Region meeting in Tacoma, Washington, Sister Ruby Hudson, Regional Vice President, Sister Tommy Seaburn, State President. The Southeast Regional Conference, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where Sister Barbara Boldware, Regional Vice President, Sister Melba Bruton, South Carolina, State President. The Intercontinental Region, the beautiful island of Bermuda, pink sand, pink sand, pink sand, and warm sun. Sister Audrey Faye Crawford, Regional Vice President, Sister Amanda Jones, Nation President. Conducted the Ministers' Wives and Ministers' Widow Memorial Services for our beloved President Emeritus, Reverend Mother, Mommy, Pastor, and friend, Dr. Muriel Johnson Providence. The Northeast Regional Meeting, Alexandria, Virginia, Mrs. Edna M. Owens, State President and General Chairperson, Carolyn E. Lewis Bledsoe, outgoing Regional Vice President. The Mid-Southwest Regional Meeting, Houston, Texas, Sister Constance Burnside, State President and General Chairperson, Mrs. Irene Jones, Regional Vice President. The Florida Association of Ministers' Wives and Ministers' Widows, Mrs. Freddie Brinson, State President, and in Tallahassee with the Big Bend chapter, Dr. Juliet McDonald, chapter president. Funeral service of Reverend Nim Bernard Russell, Regional Vice President of the General Missionary Baptist Convention of Georgia. The Mid-Northwest Regional Retreat, the first one for our organization, Phoenix, Arizona, Mrs. Mary Watson, Regional Vice President. Keynote Women's Day speaker at the First Baptist Church, Kingston, Birmingham, Alabama. The Central Regional Vice Meeting, Chicago, Illinois, Mrs. Ruth Mosley, Regional Vice President, Gladys Piper, State President. Met with Olivia Lang, our CVS Caremark advisor, to establish a partnership with the IAMW, MW, and CVS. Greensboro, North Carolina, for the final walkthrough with this hotel and the North Carolina Sisters. It was with joy, profound privilege, and pleasure that I would take my clothes out of one luggage and put it in the other for this organization.